Hey, what's good, everybody here? What's going on? It is 12:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Wow. So this is episode 2 of STS here, shooting the shiznit, or the more inappropriate term. Let me get this cigarette out of the way here. Yes, I smoke, and I smoke when I'm on the program. I'm only doing that because I want to get the fuzz out of, oh, maybe the fuzz is just there, but whatever. Anyway, thank you guys here for joining in here tonight. Here, I want to share some thoughts here, and I want to give a big shout out here because I love getting shout outs. I do it on the show when I see a podcast that is ultra phenomenal. I love giving them shout outs because you know what? Listenership, subscriptions, all that other stuff there, it really helps generate notoriety to them, and it helps to really help those folks here, and it helps me as well. However, tonight I want to give a big shout out to COVID-19, the coronavirus itself, the Rona. And I want to give a shout out to the Rona here. Well, let's give some context to this here. We're in context in a more condensed version because, well, so late Thursday night, early Friday morning, depending on your time zone, President Trump put out a tweet on Twitter that he and First Lady Melania Trump had contracted the coronavirus. Now, a lot of people like to say that, you know what, the president is saying it's a hoax and everything else. And yes, to a certain extent, he did claim that it was a hoax. He called it China hoax. He called it a number of different things. But if you, again, we're doing this contextually, right? If you go back to the State of the Union address, Darlene, how are you doing tonight, my dear? I am so happy you are here tonight. Blow this bad boy up if you be so kind. But if you will go back to the State of the Union address back in, I think it was early February this year, the president had mentioned the coronavirus. He mentioned COVID-19, and he talked about it in the most serious of contexts. Context I don't know if that's the actual word or not. Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that he talked about it, and he talked about it in the most serious of terms. And he mentioned that this was something that needed to be taken care of. He mentioned this is something that needed to be dealt with. And he mentioned that this was something that was coming to our shores. And since then, he has done everything that he possibly could. He has shut down the borders early, and he did that in the order, in the effect, to protect the American people. He did that to try to mitigate the illnesses and the fatalities here. However, he has a party here within the United States of America, the Democrat Party, was actively working against him. Now, I'm sorry. I'm only sorry in the sense because you know what? There are actors out here that look at you and me as collateral damage. Case in point. You've had a number of states that have taken infected individuals with coronavirus, and placed them within nursing homes. Now, let me ask you this. Why would you take an infected person with somebody that has a flu-like symptom on steroids and place them into a situation, into an environment where the population of the environment, i.e. nursing homes, where they're going to be the most compromised in terms of their immunity, in terms of their mortality? Well, I'll tell you why. They place those people with coronavirus in the nursing homes because that's where you're going to get the most spread. That's where you're going to get the most fatalities. That's where you're going to be able to create those increase in numbers. Brother Hilario, what's going on here tonight? How are you? That's right, Darlene. The president did close the borders there January 31 before we were told the virus was airborne. And I remember it was the weekend of March 13th. I was in a recreational facility with my family. We were on vacation, believe it or not. And that's when the announcement of the pandemic came about. But I digress. I want to give a shout out here to coronavirus, though. And I don't want this video, this podcast to go too long because, well, I need to throw more context into it. And that's the problem. Every time I throw more context into something, I end up going way too long here. But so you got the first lady, we got the president of the United States, we got senators, Mike Lee, Ron Johnson. We've got a number of folks, Hope Hicks, Kellyanne Conway. We have so many people on the right, and there are some folks on the left that have contracted the coronavirus. But here's the thing. There was a map that was put out by Politico during the announcement of Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. And there were 2 rows of individuals that had contracted coronavirus. If this is not a biological attack to what's going on here within the United States from American citizens, I don't know what is. Like, seriously, it's gotten to the point, like I said, and I've told people it's 2020. There are no more conspiracies at this point. You could tell me right now that you were out last night, Friday night, you were out there and you were drinking with Sasquatch. Like, seriously, you could tell me that and I would totally believe you. Why? Because a year ago, if you had told me everything that happened up to this point, you would be considered a conspiratorial person. You know, you'd be considered that type of individual that's just making stuff up. And at this point, I'm willing to believe anything. I will entertain anything, and I will research it accordingly. Now we give some context into what is going on. I want to thank China, nature, God, whoever put out COVID-19, whoever put out the coronavirus, whoever did whatever it is that is plaguing this planet of ours. And I want to thank the coronavirus in particular because, of course, you know, it's the most smart, intelligent virus we've ever had. Because I was talking to somebody, I think it was yesterday. No, it was today. I was talking to him today, and I was like, you know, I love the coronavirus to the extent that you can go into a restaurant, especially one of these restaurants that are really particular about wearing a face mask, walk in with a face mask, do your order with a face mask, sit there, and then take your face mask off as you eat and drink. Now, mind you, server's going to come up to you wearing their face mask, ask you how is your meal while you don't wear a face mask. But magically, you know, you're insulated because you're eating or drinking or whatever it is you're doing. And then, of course, when you're done, put your face mask on and leave the establishment. Okay. I'm going to give a shout out to the coronavirus, though. But before I do that, I want you guys to understand something. See, when I started this second show here on video, this is something I was calling shoot the shit. And then, of course, you know, ... That was my whole thing. I wanted to be a little more clean than what I do on the Caramel Conservative podcast. I wanted it to be not so much cussing or swearing or anything else here. You know, where the Caramel Conservative, I'll just kind of let loose and my guests are going to do what I'm going to do. Whereas a STS, I was going to be shooting the shiznit back with folks. And I would, you know, just whomever. But we're going to keep it clean. You know, if you're going to swear, you're going to swear, but let's not just go over the top. That was the whole idea of STS. You know, it was a play on the idea that I'm saying is shoot the shit, but we're not really going to be swearing. And I think to a certain degree, I will try to maintain that. But at this point, folks, let me make this clear. I'm done playing games. If you folks were concerned that I was a little over the top, if you folks thought up until all of my other podcasts and everything else, if you thought that I was a little unhinged, if you thought that, well, if you thought I was giving you everything I had, let me just put it to you like this here. Fuck that shit. You ain't seen nothing yet. Tonight the gloves go off completely, and I was thinking about doing a soundtrack and everything behind this, but you know what? Fuck it. That's just the way it is. Tonight, basically the bottom line is anything I do going forward, NSFW, that's what it's called, not safe for work. And if you're a little sensitive to the four-letter words and cursing and other stuff like that, I'm not the show for you. I'm the guy that's going to tell you like it is, and I'm going to be raw about it. See, here it is. When it comes to COVID-19, I want to say thank you to COVID. Thank you to the coronavirus. And here is why, and big cheers to you. See, here's the thing. The coronavirus has shown us a number of different things. It has shown us, number one, we have seen the strong from the weak. We have seen those that understand freedom versus those that would, submit themselves and be subjugated. We have seen people that value life versus are just the most ill motherfuckers on the planet. And let me tell you about these sons of bitches. And I want to talk about these folks here for a little bit because, ever since the president and Melania Trump had contracted coronavirus, you got Michael Moore out there, thoughts and prayers to COVID-19. Oh, okay. Fuck you very much, you chubby fuck. This bastard running around here trying to talk shit. With all the money that he's got, he should be able to fix the problems in Flint, Michigan, if he actually gave a damn. But clearly, he doesn't. And that's a problem. That's one of the things I don't get about these so-called rich white liberals that are out there, because you know what? You guys got all the money in the world. You guys can do all the stuff that you claim that you want to do, but yet you do not do a damn thing. You insulate yourself. You put yourselves around gated communities. You have guards, armed guards at that. But you do nothing for the surrounding communities around you, the ones that you proclaim that you are advocating for. And heaven forbid that you have to, share your cut into the rest of folks. No, 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 no. Don't do anything like that, because if you do something like that, you might actually show that you give a damn. But the fact of the matter is that you do not. And it's clear that you don't. You're only trying to score these cheap points, these cheap political points, these cheap talking points. And again, it always goes back to the white liberal. And I want to use race in everything that I do up to this, going forward, because bottom line, and I was trying to get away from that for a while. I was trying to get away from race for a number of years because, the bottom line is I'm a child of the 90s when I really think about it here. When we came up and it was all about the content of the character versus the color of our skin and everything else. But, bottom line here is that those of us that came up in the 90s, we still are what we are. We weigh each other on our character and not our color. Today, though, it's all about color. Okay. All right. So that's what we're doing. Some people's children. Oh, don't worry. I'm not done yet. Yeah, today we're all about looking at people's color. We're all about talking about, white people going out there, Black Lives Matter. You're inherently racist. But yet the white folks aren't giving up the things, the privileges and everything else that they claim that they have ill-gotten gains. So therein lies. I mean, and I don't think they should. Don't get me wrong, but my point simply here is that if you have the courage of your convictions to actually believe the bullshit that you're spouting out to the rest of us, then you would give up 80% of everything that you have and give it to a person of color. And by the way, I hate that term POC, person of color. It's complete and utter bullshit. Now, on social media. Social media, it really, over the past couple of days, it has shown itself to be the sewer that it is. Now, I have told you guys time and time again, get yourself a Twitter account, but monitor it. Do not participate. Why? Because Twitter is the sewer of the internet. It is probably just as bad, if not worse, than Reddit. Now, Reddit is pretty sewer-like too, but at least Reddit has some decent content in there. Thing is, on social media, here's the thing: you got keyboard commandos that run about there, they run amok, they act like they're Superman. These are the folks that couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And what the thing that kills me, a lot of these SOBs on the fucking on social media, and that's why I don't get into it with folks in social media. I had this one cat trying to call me out, call me a clown, try to use some foreign language, all this other shit. And it's like, dude, number one, you wouldn't say that to my face. You're protected by your monitor and your keyboard. Number two, you wouldn't say that to my face because you're probably smaller than me. Number three, you wouldn't say that to my face even if you were bigger than me because I'd probably whoop your ass. And when I say probably, I mean you had a 2% chance, like a little less than your survivability rate of the coronavirus, of whooping my ass. See, social media makes it so easy for folks to just be brave. It gives you this idea that you can somehow talk a lot of shit that you would not otherwise say to another human being. Now, I'm the type of cat, I will say almost anything, but it's a matter of training, discipline, and just wanting to be the best version of myself I can be. I'm not out here trying to challenge everybody, their brother. I'm not out here trying to prove that I'm Billy Badass. I'm not out here trying to prove that I can do X, Y, or Z. I'm going to try to diffuse the situation. I'm going to try to help you if I can, as long as it doesn't cause me any extreme detriment. However, at a certain point, yes, you can push me to the point where I will break and we will be on the verge of having a problem. So social media kind of gives people this insulation, this idea that somehow they can just run off at the mouth and just say and type out things. It's almost like a stream of consciousness, kind of like what I'm doing here tonight. I thought about writing out notes and I just decided, I'm just going to shoot at the hip. But these folks here, they just shoot at the hip and don't think about the consequences beyond that. But that's why I want to give thanks to the coronavirus, because it has displayed the folks here who are saying, you know what? I hope the president dies in a very painful fashion. And all you need to do is go on Facebook, look at your liberal friends, go on Twitter, look at your liberal friends, go on any of your social media platforms, take a look at your liberal friends. And I say friends very loosely. And what you come to find is, these fucks are really running around and they're talking about how they would, they're going to, relegate in the fact that, what was it trending on Twitter here? Trump has a Rona or something like that. Now, I did not like Barack Obama. And I thought a lot of people on the right, when they were talking about, Barack Obama needs to hang at the gallows and they would show memes and everything else like that, I thought that was complete and utter garbage. I thought that was bullshit just the same. Because you know what? Even though I may personally think that Barack Obama was not born in Hawaii, I think he may have been born in another country. The fact of the matter is that he produced a Hawaiian birth certificate. The proof is there. So unless we see otherwise, unless there is some evidence that is contrary to what we have at this particular moment in time, we cannot say otherwise. Do I think that President Obama, and he it was the duly elected president of the United States, if he was indeed leading us, and as I surmise, into a managed decline of America, that was not necessarily wrong. That was within his scope of authority to do so. A lot of people don't want to think about that, acknowledge it, or even agree with it, but constitutionally, it was within his authority to do so. Now, was it most beneficial to the United States of America? And to that, I would argue no. Just the same, the First Amendment gives us the ability to, wow, I had an itch on the nose there. But the First Amendment gives us the ability to have our political speech. Political speech also includes hate speech, by the way, for all you sensitive sons of bitches out there. But it allows you political affiliation. It allows you to say some of the most heinous things out there. So when I hear people talk about we should ban communists, we should ban this or that, no, you can't do that. Not if you are truly believing the Constitution. I'm not the biggest fan of Islam, but you don't ban Islam. Why? First Amendment. You don't ban communists or socialists. Why? First Amendment. It's pretty simple. But the coronavirus has really exposed a lot of folks. It has really exposed a lot of people for who they truly are. And I have seen people on my social media platforms, and they have posted some of the vile, disgusting shit that I've seen. I saw this one young lady, and that's the thing that kills me. A lot of these young folks here, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, 21 years old. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. I wouldn't trust them with a pet, much less a baby. And they're running around putting these memes with with a caricature of Trump and a coffin and other things like that, and talk about how horrible Trump is. But yet, when I confront any of these people IRL in real life, none of these people can actually tell me what is the true racism of Trump. The closest they can get is, well, he's talking about Mexicans and deporting them. Yeah, and fuck them. Sorry, if you come across the border illegally, get the fuck out. That's like me coming into your home and saying, you know what? I'm going to come into your home. I'm going to come and eat your food. I'm going to come fuck your wife. And I'm going to be daddy to your children. And you're going to pay the bill. How about that? See, you wouldn't like that. Because, all those things, those are yours. Well, when you extrapolate that to the nation state, it applies. Because basically what's happening here is when you come across the country and you take the welfare benefits and you take citizenship and you do all the other good stuff here, that is essentially being an American citizen, and you do so illegally, you're eating my food, you're fucking my wife, and you're trying to be the daddy to my kids. Am I wrong? I mean, I know I'm being very harsh about it. I know I'm being upfront about it. But am I wrong? I don't think so. COVID has exposed a lot of these people. It really has. It has exposed the strong from the weak. It has exposed the people that value the Constitution versus those that are willing to be subjugated. And honestly, and I want to look at you guys directly. You people that wish ill will on the president and on the first lady and on Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Mike Lee, on Hope Hicks, on Kellyanne Conway, and everyone else. You fuckers, you seriously need to reevaluate your lives. I cannot stress that enough. You are the same SOBs that are running out here talking about love Trump's hate. But yet you give out the most vile, disgusting bullshit posts out there that's imaginable. And I know you fucking people personally. You fucking people are the ones that are talking about, I mean, and the thing that kills me about you fucking people is that you are so emotionally disturbed naturally. Take out the political events and everything. You have so many fucking issues with yourselves. You can't even accept yourselves for being who you are. But yet you're somehow way into the political arena that deals and delves into the lives of other fucking people. Like I said, at this point, all gloves are off. Maybe Anakin Skywalker had it best. Maybe I fucked up when I said a couple weeks ago, I hate absolutists. I fucked up. Because honestly, at this point, you're either with us or you're against us. Because I get it. I get what Antifa gets. I get what BLM gets. I get what the radical left gets. The problem with a lot of the Christian conservative, we need to be above the fray folks, the ones that would shun individuals like me because I say shit that's just way over the top. Tammy, what's going on, my dear? And yes, Americans usually have balls. But I get it. See, the left understand you're either with them or you're against them. And if you're not with them, they'll deal with you accordingly. I'm not saying we necessarily need to go way to their depth, but we need to not be afraid to get dirty anymore. We need to not be afraid to say that 4-letter word. We need to not be afraid to get in somebody's face. And honestly, for you boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages from 8 to 86, lame and lazy, you need to not be afraid to take a punch. Me? Take your punch. You get one. Pray to God you knock me out. Because if you don't, do remember, I believe in disproportionate response. I'm not looking to knock you out at that point. I'm probably going to take you out. But that's just me. But like I said, a lot of folks here, when it comes to COVID-19, they are being exposed, and for better or for worse. And I got to say thank you, COVID-19, because you really have helped expose people for who they are. Now, I remember Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. He said this about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5. When he was talking about Trump, he's like, we're going to remember who you are, and there's going to be payback. You're right. There is. And we're going to remember who you are. And there is going to be payback. Doesn't necessarily mean any violence or anything. No, not necessarily. Not unless you perpetuate it upon us. But I think those of us on the right, those of us that have strength, intelligence, decorum, those of us on the right that believe in the Constitution, we'll protect you. Don't get me wrong. If you come at us with hostilities, we will put you down like the rabid animals that you are, judiciously, legally. However, because we have a freedom of association, we can also shun you just the same and make you a personal phrase of mine that I really, really enjoy. Persona non grata, a person of no consequence. And for a lot of you people out there, you're only getting on board with the so-called resistance. You're only getting on board with the idea of being anti-Trump because being in that clique gives you a sense of belonging, you know, as opposed to persona non grata, person of no consequence. You think that it makes you a bigger part, a part of something bigger than yourself. The sad fact is, you are already a part of something bigger than what you were. You just chose to reject its greatness. And that is what makes you pathetic. Let me take a look here in the chat room real quick here. Yes, sir, Hilario. Oh, yeah. Safe spaces. Oh, Hilario is like a complete like Star Wars fan. Of course, I'm a nerd. I'm gonna bring that stuff up. He also mentioned here my biological father was a illegal immigrant. He broke the law and he wasn't a very good person to my brother and I, and that's why I am adopted. Yeah. Consequences. And that's unfortunate, Hilly. Darlene, we love you, and I love you. God, I love you guys. I do. I don't care if it's one person, 100 people, 1,000,000 people. I love all you guys checking in here. And I do late night shows. It's kind of ridiculous, but I do. Laura, you are right. We need to take back the education system and have people running for school boards and positions. The problem is that, and I've mentioned this before on previous shows, when it comes to the school boards, town boards, and other stuff like that, a lot of these folks on the left they're so incredibly hyper politicized that they sacrifice their actual careers and actually make the politics their own careers. And like for myself, I have my job. I love my job. I tell people this all the time. I don't consider what I do actual work. Like I get to sell stuff and talk to people. It's not work. I love what I do way too much. But at the end of the day, I am extremely tired. Make no bones about that. And do I necessarily have the time between work and family and other responsibilities around the house? No, I really don't. But these folks, boy, they not only do they make the time, but they drop their careers so they can change up second careers. Maybe we need to start doing that too. So that's a great point. Darlene mentioned here there were thousands of bikers for Trump outside Walter Reed today, kneeling and asking for God to take care of the president and the first lady. He was very moving, and that was something really, really impressive today. If you guys hadn't checked it out, Breitbart was pretty much the only one streaming it. I think American Military News have posted it too, but there's a few folks here the other night that were in front of Walter Reed Medical Facility, and they were holding a vigil for the president tonight. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there. It was absolutely incredible. And the crazy part about it is, with all those people, they were peaceful. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There was no bullshit. So, folks, here, let me break it down to you like this. Going forward, STS, the Caramel Conservative, plus Ultra Media. The gloves are off. If you thought I was coming at you hard to begin with, you ain't seen shit yet. It's about to get real. So, guys, make sure you tune in here Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Caramel Conservative podcast will be back. I will be downloading the audio version of this broadcast here, putting it up on STS and the Caramel Conservative. So make sure you check it out. Hilario, I'd say hi to Young Jen. I'd say young Jen should get in and kick some ass with the school board, but I don't want to force her to do anything. But she is one tough cookie. Plus, she might cut me, and I can't have that. I just can't. I got enough scars as it is. Different story though. But anyway, guys, make sure you check us out here. Go to our website here. That's plusultramedia.com. Let's throw that banner. I'm surprised I didn't have that out here. There we go. Yep, plusultramedia.com. That's where you can find the shows, all that other good stuff there. And of course, like I said, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. ish Central Standard Time, the Caramel Conservative. We will be back. Make sure you check us out there. And as always, as I leave every show, I want to remind you guys there are terrible people in this world. There are villains, and there are horrible, horrible people. If you're on social media, you guys know this. You have seen this over the last few days. I need you to understand that, you know what? In the end, you too can become a hero. And you need to become a hero for yourself, your community, your families, your state, your nation. Because in the end, that's all we have. We have our voices. We have our opinions. But be educated about what you do. Think about what it is that you do, act, say, endorse. Because ultimately, and literally 29 days, or is it 30 days? Yeah, it's 30 days. We got what do we got here? 31 days in March and in October. I was gonna say March. Oh my God. That's because I got a birthday coming up here. Somebody's birthday, not mine. But we got 30 days to election. We got to make this count, guys. Every election cycle, we say this is the most important election of our lifetime. If we fail, no. Life isn't over. Make no mistake about that. Life is not over. But it will get worse. It will get a lot worse. So, guys, I will see you guys here Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, throw out all that good stuff here. It is past 1 a.m. Central Standard Time, October 4th. I will see you guys on the flip side. Until then, I am out.